Live coming to you from the lab, CP3 with Brian Brennan and Robbie Gross for Sports on the Hill podcast, episode 96. Talking Nationals and some baseball too, since we got Brian on the line. You know we want to have some Yankees talk in a little while. So I guess I'll go ahead and bring Brian in right now. Brian, how you doing tonight, good sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing better than most of our baseball teams right now, man.
Yeah, man, this was a rough week for the Nats. I don't know how it was for the Yankees, but after we had that great 4-0 start that I touted and put a nice little video out about, they haven't been able to win a game since. So it hasn't been a real good week. So I guess we can go ahead and break down this real quick. This week that was, and we can talk a little bit of Nats and see what's going on with this division at the start of this season. We started out the week, we had the game on last week with the Braves, which they prevailed in, and then they had the Braves again in Atlanta for the second game of the series, which did not turn out well. Robbie had mentioned a certain pitcher, AJ Cole, before we went to break. And if you follow my page, you saw I put a post out that said the AJ Cole project needs to be deleted, erased, and never thought of again, because it's a damn shame that this team gives him a lead. He loses it, then he hits a home run in the game. Okay, I give him credit for that. And then he gets a lead back and then loses it again. Final score 13-6. And as Robbie mentioned, Max is on the mound tonight because AJ was supposed to take it, and no doubt if he was on the mound, the Nats would not be up 2-0 right now. But I think that was one of the surprises of the offseason with me with the Nats. They didn't go look for another starting pitcher, and that they still have faith that this AJ Cole kid can pull it together. I mean, he has all the physical tools, but I just don't think he has it in between the ears, man. He just can't. He doesn't have the killer instinct. He looks like a deer in the headlights when he's on the mound sometimes, and he can't hold the lead. I mean, he'd have a 4 or 5-0 lead, and then he'd come out there and start throwing fastballs straight down the middle, like he's playing, wiffle ball. I'm like, come on, when you get a lead, you're supposed to have that shutdown inning, and he has an open up inning because whenever he has a lead, the other team opens up on him the next damn inning. What about you, Brian? I know you're a Yankees fan, and they've gone through a lot of pitchers. Have you seen AJ Cole, and have you had some of the same recollections? I know you don't really follow the Nats like that, but having a pitcher that has talent but doesn't seem to put it together, have you had any issues with that with the Yankees starters?
Oh, I mean, all the time. I mean, this happens at least once a year where there's somebody that just can't put it together as a starting pitcher. I think maybe for AJ Cole, who I have seen a little bit of, and like you said, not expensive at all. Somebody like AJ Cole could benefit from the bullpen. You mentioned he got shelled pretty good this start. The Nationals actually got off to a 3-0 lead this game, too. I'm looking at the box score now. So you kind of thought maybe they're going to keep this momentum rolling. They had already started 4-0, but AJ Cole just completely terrible. ERA is over almost 25 at this point. Something like that, like you said, he got passed over for Scherzer tonight. Could benefit from, I would think, maybe a move to the bullpen or just maybe even to the minors, AJ Cole.
Yeah, he's been there enough, and they still have faith in him. But, they got faith in him. Maybe he can turn it around. I don't see it, but like I say, they're the manager for a reason, and we're on the radio for a reason. And we can get into the last game of the Atlanta series in Atlanta. The rubber match. Atlanta prevailed 7-1 and actually did beat Max Scherzer that game. Mad Max didn't look like himself in that game. There was I ain't gonna say controversial call, but the umpire wasn't as generous with the strike zone, and it should have been a strikeout, but it turned out to be a walk, which ended up after that being a 3-run home run, which gave Atlanta the momentum they needed to carry this game. We're going to break down the NL East a little bit the way the season has started, but I'm surprised to see the start of the Braves and the Mets this year. Like I said, we'll break that down a little bit later on, but Atlanta handled their business. Last year the Nats went down there, season opener, first time in the stadium, opening the stadium, and the Nats swept them. And this year, Atlanta started off their season with winning 2 out of 3 against the Nats, which I wouldn't have predicted. I was thinking they would go down there and do the same thing after that first game that we saw and talked about on the Monday night show. But have you had a chance to peep these Braves, Brian, and what do you think about them so far this year?
Yeah, Atlanta, they have obviously, they've not been very good for the last couple of years, but they're actually turning that into one of baseball's top farm systems. So they're not, I think when everything shakes out, because, again, it's way too early to judge any of these teams, really, any team in baseball right now, it's way too early to judge. When it all shakes out, I think Atlanta's probably going to end up finishing third or fourth in the National East, maybe with Philly and the Mets. You can put them anywhere in that second to third or fourth range in the NL East. They definitely have a bright future. Max Scherzer, he only gave up 2 earned runs in this game, so a bit of a tough luck loss for Scherzer. That's why his ERA is still really low despite the loss of this game. Only 2 earned runs were allowed over, looking at the stats, 5 innings pitched. So a pretty good start overall for Scherzer in this game. When Atlanta got the lead early and did not relinquish it.
Yeah, that 3-run home run he gave in the first inning was actually because of an error. I got it wrong with the pitching. The strike zone was a little bit later in the game. That first inning, I recall now, it was an error that led to that, a misplay, I believe, by Trey Turner, which got Freddie Freeman to the plate, and he emptied the bases on that one. So they're playing Atlanta tonight, as we mentioned. They're at home tonight with a 2-0 lead, and going to the top of the 5th, I believe. We'll get past that game and get into the Mets series, which is another series that the Mets had pretty much handled the Mets over the last couple of seasons, ever since we acquired Daniel Murphy, when they didn't want him anymore, and he's been a Met killer. But if you've been watching, you know that he's still on the DL, recovering from off-season surgery. So, going up to New York, I figured, the Nats would be able to win 2 out of 3, maybe get the sweep. We've known what their pitching staff has been going through and the way they've played the last few seasons. I figured there wouldn't be an issue at all with this game. But the Mets were able to win the first game of the series 8-2. I was definitely shocked that they were able to get to Strasburg. He only lasted 6 innings, giving up 4 earned runs. That wasn't not too bad, but unfortunately the Nats offense couldn't get together and muster many runs after that. I mentioned Daniel Murphy. He hasn't been in the lineup since. We saw what they did in the first 4 games, and unfortunately after scoring, 2 against Atlanta, then 1 against Atlanta, and then, in this game only getting another 2 runs. I'm not saying that things need to be in panic mode, but, you don't want to see those fluxes in the consistency go from, the way they played to start the season in these last couple of games. It doesn't look like they've been playing up to their full potential. So it was a ugly loss that I say, because 8-2 is just, that's just, even though it's early season now, you don't want to lose to a division rival like that, especially someone that you handled pretty well over the last few seasons. What do you say about this other New York team that you really don't follow, Brian?
Yeah, I really am not a fan of the Mets, as most people know. I had thought the Nats were going to win this game too. I thought they were going to win this series. But the Mets need to have, they've put together a pretty good lineup. They're off to a 7-1 start, and they have a decent lineup. The Tampa is there, the big Yankee fan who really does not like the Mets at all. But, Yoenis Cespedes, Michael Conforto, Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier, the first 3 names I mentioned all homered in the home opener against the Nationals. So not only, do the Mets have a good young pitching staff with the likes of Syndergaard, Grom, now they've got some bats to go along with it. They could, I don't want to, I actually think their 7-1 start may not be a total fluke, to be honest. I think they could be in contention maybe for a wild card spot down the road as the rest of the season shapes out, because they do have a powerful lineup, and they showed it in the 8-2 win. Jay Bruce hit a grand slam, and the Mets hit 3 home runs.
Yeah. Let's get into the second game. I'm tired of talking about all these damn losses. The second game of the series was another unfortunate loss, 3-2 to the Mets. This was a better play game. I didn't get a chance to see all the ins and outs of this game. I was doing some other things. But there was a controversial ejection of my man Tony Two Bags, who was one of the most cool, calm, and collected folks at the plate. And we've I've got on my soapbox about these damn umpires many times before on this show, and it was a questionable call on the strikeout. Anthony Rendon didn't even look at the umpire, didn't say a word. He just flipped his bat, was taking his gloves off, and the umpire, for some reason, this so-called unwritten rule in baseball, felt like he was showing him up and felt like he had to throw him out of the game. Didn't say one word to him, he just tossed him. Now, I'm not saying that caused a nasty game or anything. This is just a whole nother subject. But this is getting utterly ridiculous, and this is the second week of the season, and you already got players getting tossed out for nothing? Is this the NBA now? Are we having issues with the umpires and referees in baseball already the second week of the season? I don't know if his wife didn't give him one that morning or his paycheck wasn't right, but it just didn't make any sense. Anthony Rendon is one of the most quietest, baseball players in the league. You actually have analysts say that they try to encourage him to talk about himself, but whenever they have an interview, he talks about other players. So, not to go on a rant or nothing, but we got to do something about this. These referees, man, they feel like they have too much power in all sports, not just baseball. But it's just ridiculous that they feel they're getting shown up and they feel that they can throw somebody out or give somebody a tech or whatever, because they feel they're bigger than the game. No, you're an employee. Go do your job, get your paycheck. Matter of fact, do your job right, first of all, collect your paycheck, and stay in the background, because they're not coming to pay to see you referee. They're coming to see the players play. And I'm going to get off my soapbox. Brian, what do you have to say about this umpire situation?
All I got to say is amen, Carol. You put the nail right on the coffin. These umpires in baseball, referees in all sports, they almost feel like, because they're on TV most of the time and people are coming to see them. But no, we're coming to see the sport. We're coming to see the athletes. Like, we're not paid to see a bunch of people in striped shirts. So I completely agree with you, Carol. I saw the ejection of Anthony Rendon. I don't see what he did wrong. I thought it was completely ridiculous. And, I think umpires in baseball, that might honestly be the worst. I know the NBA is right up there with officials kind of, wanting to, be the center of attention. The NBA and the NFL to an extent as well, right up there with having their officials. But these baseball umpires, a lot of them just eject people just for the hell of it. They joke on ESPN, which I know you and I are not big fans of, but they joke on ESPN about umpire fantasy league for like ejections and stuff. But you could honestly do one because of the way umpires eject people all the time now. It's ridiculous. Rendon ejection is ridiculous.
No doubt. I'm still trying to figure out why he got ejected. I haven't looked into it because there's so much sports news going on, but it's definitely had me scratching my head trying to figure out what was what. Let's go ahead and wrap up this 0-5 week that was for the Nats with an unfortunate baseball game that was on baseball night on ESPN. I was actually tuned in, even though the Nats never, for some reason, had any luck on primetime on ESPN. I don't know why they always find a way to lose this game, and they found a way to lose this game 6-5. We're going to talk about Bryce in a little while, but I knew it was going to be an issue. He had a home run, got the Nats off to a good start, but he also had a base running miscue in the ninth when the Nats were trying to come back, where it was a pass ball. He could have advanced, but he didn't. But before we get deep into it, I totally forgot. Robbie chimed in, said he had something he wanted to say. I'm sorry, I got caught up in it all. I got everything going on, and I forgot you had something you wanted to say.
We got a lot going on the shows, but I just really wanted to quickly mention about the umpire thing. Supposedly he did say something under his breath. I know it wasn't caught on TV. I don't know what it was. And he's never been ejected, or it's been the longest run of any player in the MLB, or some crazy stat like that I saw. That he's never ejected for years and years and years. But he must have said something because he was fined for language by the MLB on top of the ejection. So I'm curious. There's never released. I couldn't find anyone for any class.
Hold on. I'm throwing a flag on this play, and I'm calling bullshit. Now, before they said, if you don't agree with the call, if you don't look at the umpire and say nothing directly to him, you don't have nothing to worry about. So now, because he mumbled something under his breath, that all of a sudden this Doberman pitcher umpire with 20,000 people in the stands heard what he said and threw him out for something that he might have said under. I'm calling bullshit. I'm sorry. I got to call bullshit on that one.
I don't know. I was just reporting what I was reading and the fines that were doled out. So I agree with you. I think that they take way too much of the game. But I just wanted to point that out, that not only was he ejected, but he also got fined for it. So sort of added insult to injury there. But I actually have a couple of comments I want to make on this last game, but I'll let you go through the scoring real quickly.
Yeah, just a quick rundown of it. The Nats, they were in the game, got off to, as we said, a 2-0 lead with Bryce hitting a 2-run home run. The Mets got a grand slam after Tanner Roark had 2 outs and ended up walking the bases loaded. And I didn't even know that Adrian Gonzalez was in New York, but that son bitch hit a grand slam on the first pitch. And then I know that Adrian Gonzalez is a New York Met because that made it 4-2. And as I mentioned, the Nats had made it close, tied it up. It was a 5-5 game. Got to the bottom of the ninth. The Nats were Bryce had a hell of a game. He got on base, I believe, for the 4th out of 5th times for the night. It was a throw over. First baseman missed it. Bryce could have advanced to third, but he missed the sign. Got caught up. It was at second, and unfortunately, the Nats weren't able to score. They did advance from the third. But if he would have made the base, he would have scored on a sacrifice fly. That would have been yada, yada, yada. So they're trying to – and I also heard he had a foul when he didn't run out of foul ball. I missed that. But, I mean, it's a division game. It was early. Bryce has been powering the team. Nobody's perfect. He made a mistake. I'm not going to crucify him for it. But it was just unfortunate to see the Nats get swept for the first time in 10 years by the lowly Mets. That just didn't – when I saw that stat, I just shook my head and turned the TV off.
Yeah, exactly. So the Mets, as you say, it's the first time they've been swept in Washington by the Mets. I just wanted to go, and I'm happy that you brought up the 2 topics I wanted to talk about. One, they both have to do with Bryce Harper. He didn't read the signs right. The guy had called him the third, and he didn't see it. And the thing is, he's looking over his shoulder and making a play and a guess on a ball. And I know that you're a great player, and you think that you can see everything in the field around you. But there's a reason there's a third base coach. And you got to follow what he's saying. He's saying get to third. You got to get to third because in the end, that's the difference in the game. Like he could have scored there, we would never have gone to extra innings. We wouldn't have lost the game. I know it's a small detail. I don't want to harp on details like that, but it's important. And he's done this before for us, where he hasn't been watching what base coaches are saying. And it's not like it's a fault against him. It's not like I'm mad at Bryce Harper, but those are the little details in the game that he needs to work on. Just, the coach is watching that ball for you. Just watch his sign. And he'll tell you what you need to do. And it's an important thing. And they're not running it out. It's a conflict is right there because they can tell them don't run into walls. We don't want you to run into walls. We want you to play the whole season. We don't want you to get injured. Don't do it. But you see that play happen a lot more often in road stadiums where you don't have a sense of where the walls are. At home, he's played so many games in that stadium. He should know where it was. And I agree, slow up when you get to the wall. But if he just reached his hand out and got that foul ball, he's also out of an inning. We also have an opportunity to win that game. So I know that those are two, maybe not big plays in the course of the season, but both things that could have been fixed. And I understand why people were talking about.
Whoa. So hold. The foul ball they're talking about is when he pulled up at the wall. That's what they're complaining about.
One of 2 things.
Wow. Okay. That's what I wasn't sure, but I'm glad you said that because now I'm calling bullshit. Because when he was running through the wall in LA and hurt himself, everybody told him to slow down. So if he felt on a cold night that it didn't feel right, I would rather him pull up right there than maybe he not feel right, tweak something, get a foul ball. Okay, cool, you get out, but you lose your MVP for the next 2 months. Nah, I call bullshit on that. The base running thing, that was I didn't see him missing the signal. If you saw the play when the first baseman missed the ball, Bryce didn't realize it, and he had dove back to the first base. So when he realized that the first baseman was already close to the ball, he didn't know that he was going to bobble the ball, so he was trying to get to second base just to secure the extra base. Once he saw him bobble it, he didn't catch the sign by the third base coach, which happens sometimes. But in all of a split second of a pass ball and him trying to advance, for folks to say that this has happened over and over again, that was a split second thing that, it hasn't happened in a long time. And for fans or whoever the jump on that already with the start that this man has had, they carried his team on his back, 6 home runs, and what he's done, he has more home runs than 6 teams in the league combined. He's been the offense firepower behind us. And if anybody got a problem with him making a mistake because he pulled up a little early in his home stadium and he missed the sign, even though he's powered this team, they need a reality break. They need to get slapped in the face with the Sports on the Hill podcast t-shirt. That's my new thing. I'm smacking folks with Sports on the Hill podcast t-shirts. That's my new saying, starting tonight.
I like it. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, so, all right. I guess, they ended up winning 6-5 in extra innings. We're still up 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th. We've got a runner on first with 1 out. So we're still playing well. A little bit of a small ball, not anything too crazy right now. I believe Anthony Rendon is the guy who's sitting on first base. Zimmerman is up to bat right now. And we'll keep on monitoring the rest of this Nationals game throughout the rest of the night. But I know that we want to get into some boxing talk and some other stuff. But Brian, you've been great on the Nats talk. Do you have any quick things on the Yankees before we switch topics?
Yeah, every Yankee fan that is overreacting to the team starting 5-5 and Don Carlos fans striking out 5 times twice in a week needs to chill the hell out. 5-5. It's the first week of the season. Everybody calm the hell down. The Yankees will be fine. It's the first week of the season. Relax.
But didn't he break some type of record for what? Was it 5 strikeouts in straight games and bad? Well, but I know it was some type of. I had to bring it up to you, Brian, because you've been so hyped all season with the acquisition. And I know it's early in the season, but I just said, me, I had to throw a little salt on the Yankee parade, man.
It's too early, man. Too early to really judge anything. Yeah, it looks bad. The dude struck out 5 times, twice in the same week at home. And he's getting booed too, which doesn't help. Which is another thing people need to stop too, by the way, if anybody's listening. Do not stop booing fans. That's ridiculous. It's first week. It's everything new. You think the Red Sox are 7-1? You think that's gonna last? No. They played Tampa Bay twice and Miami, so they're not gonna last at 7-1 pace all season. So it's not gonna. Everything that people are freaking out about, just stop. Just stop it.
Well, it's kind of like one sports DC personality saying the Nats will go 162-0. I'm not going to throw no names out there. I'm not going to put them out there. But if you listen to his show, he actually said that and actually defended it. Now, you can make the joke, just say it in passing when the Nats started out 4-0. But to actually defend it and actually try to say that it will actually happen, come on now. But that's what DC sports media is about. But not anymore. That's why Sports on the Hill podcast is here to bring you DC sports out of politics and not making dumb, asinine comments on the air just because you can. And on that note, I'm going to end that talk on that one. And I hope the person I'm talking about hears about it and got something to say. And we